Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the Prizepicks. Let's fucking go. We whoop a bookie's ass. Ah, this is just kidding. About to go big. Kill him with the Prizepicks. About to go big. Kill him with the Prizepicks. 24/7 researching, it's all a fantasy. But if I make the right plays, it pays automatic. Bankroll showing that I know it dope strategy. On a winning streak, I'm stacking a dose and the bookies all get mad at me. Confident with power plays, not clicking on a flex today. All I see is green and we all about to get paid. Arrogant shots on the stream, they be killing it. Never gonna stop it, I like if you feel it. Picking the players, they all never top. You can't make up your mind and just go with your gut. Looked around, we found a glitch. No toast allowed, just supposed to live. Sophia's fine, sat to his stick, and Caitlin Clark just doesn't miss. Win, lose, or draw, we never quit. When we shoot the ball, it's another switch. Submit the link, it'll make you rich, and we going big. Don't be a bitch. Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the Prizepicks. Let's fucking go. We whoop a bookie's ass. Ah, this is just kidding. About to go big. Kill him with the Prizepicks. About to go big. Kill him with the Prizepicks. We about to go big. We about to go big.
Just cash.
About to go big. Kill him with the Prizepicks. About to go big. Kill him with the Prizepicks.
We are live.
Cash.
Yo, what's going on, fam? Welcome back. It is Taco Tuesday, and we got a nice 6-game slate for everyone, WNBA, and it is Just Cash. What's up, Underrated? How are you, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I missed these days. 6 games? Is it true? Is it true? Is there really 6 games?
Yeah, we had the day off yesterday. No games, unfortunately, but with the the holiday weekend was kind of sweet getting the extra day off. So now they made up for it with a really big slate, and we also have a team on the front end of a back-to-back. We'll talk about that here in just a minute, but yeah, big slate today, and then I believe a very small slate tomorrow. Yeah, just one game. Phoenix and Connecticut. So Connecticut plays tomorrow night, and even this game is kind of weird. So Phoenix plays against Connecticut, and then Phoenix also plays on Thursday as well. So we got some back-to-backs happening here over the next couple days. But today, being a 6-game slate, we got a lot to talk about, a lot of plays, a lot of things to go through. So before we hop into it, you guys do us a huge favor, make sure and hit that like button down below. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to hit that and turn your noties on. And if you're not part of the Discord, check that out. We still got the links down below in the description. Hop in there and say hi, see what we got going on. All right, so nice slate today. We talked about the back-to-back. I think we could talk about some pretty obvious, could be blowout situations. I would say this Indiana-Connecticut game, very live to blowout. I mean, they're 18-point favorites, which is pretty crazy. Although this is a Commissioner Cup game, Connecticut essentially isn't really playing for anything here, and Indiana's playing for quite a bit. So they're definitely going to be able to pull the stops to make sure they win this game. But this game can get extremely ugly. And with Connecticut on the back-to-back, we can see players rest early. I know you Underrated love some live betting and second half stuff. So let's keep an eye out for a lot of potential unders, especially from Connecticut.
Oh, yeah. You hit that right on the head there, Big E. Those second half plays have been money, especially on parlay play.
Yeah, they have.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's been really, really something special. And I mean, hopefully they keep us giving lines, but in that game we'll keep the finger on the trigger there. So nicely broken up slate. I will say shout out to finally having a good schedule made. We have a nice break in between all 3 different sections. It's 2 games kickoff, and then 3 games, and then a solo game in the evening. few of the obvious games, I think that should be in favor. Minnesota, the spread on this game kind of keeps creeping around the 12.5 even. I saw some sites at 14 even, but I think Minnesota should be able to handle business here, no problem. I mean, they're going up against Vegas without Asia Wilson, who's just looked absolutely terrible. Team's really putting it, on their back between Gray and Lloyd and Jackie. And I mean, the last two games have looked pretty awful for them. I know they squeaked out the win against Dallas, but this is going to be an extremely difficult matchup. And I'm really surprised that Minnesota is still under 1,000. I mean, they're 13-point favorites, so this would easily be like 1,200 or something. But not a bad parlay piece to add to something else. New York, I feel pretty confident about today. This could be more of a competitive game. 8.5-point spread is pretty reasonable. But New York does get Jonquel Jones back today. And as you know, Atlanta gives up the most points in the paint. So this should be a pretty good upgrade for them, as well as her defensive prowess, playing against, longtime teammate Brianna Jones. New York should be able to handle business here, especially at home. I don't mind that at all. 400 is not too bad. I think some sites are in the mid to lower 300s, but shop around for that one. And then the other one, I'm kind of really surprised they're not giving Washington any kind of respect right now, but Washington only minus 210. I mean, they're playing up against Chicago, for goodness sakes. Like, come on. I mean, this should be a cakewalk. I don't think they're getting any kind of credit here. Washington is fully healthy, and this should be a very, very favorable matchup for them. So, Chicago still kind of struggles. The last game, Angel Reese did a lot to really put the team on her back, so I like to see it. They're still spreading the ball out quite a bit. The bench really bailed them out this last game to keep it competitive, but assuming that doesn't, really become a thing quite yet, this could get a little rough for Chicago as a whole. So I like Washington here. I mean, this is really favorable. You can stack that up with like even Minnesota to get some good odds. But the other games I think are pretty close to a coin flip. The Dallas Golden State game, I wouldn't touch that, not at all. And in the Seattle Sparks game, we know that Plum's going to be out tonight, so I would like to say that Seattle should pick up the dub here, but they looked pretty terrible against Golden State this last game, and they've kind of really struggled in some of these should be, kind of easier matchups. The biggest weaknesses the Sparks have had is the three-point shooting, and Seattle is really bottom of the barrel for, overall three-point attempts per game. So that could be a little bit weird here. But yeah, closer to a coin flip here. Minus 400, that's not bad though. Very tempting for this 8.5-point cover from Atlanta, from LA. That's really tempting.
You like them still without Plum, huh?
I mean, the team's not bad. They were able to pick up a few pieces, but I think that, Seattle, unless they're shooting really efficient, their defense can carry them a lot. But, I mean, the Sparks, they're no slouch on defense either this year. So it could just be a really, really low scoring game, which honestly, I don't even mind the under 155. I think that's being pretty generous still. Plum really pushed the pace of the Sparks too, so we could see them kind of die off a little bit more. I wouldn't mind that either, honestly, just 155. Or if you can find it like 157, that would be ideal, but 155, that's not bad either. I just don't know if I can trust Seattle, man. They've just looked so underwhelming on offense sometimes. It's really hard to kind of trust that. And they can't get bailed out from three. So that's been like really a huge weakness of them is whenever they play from behind, unless they're just continuing to create the turnovers, it's been very difficult for them to catch up.
It's weird, huh? NECA's not really scoring like we thought she could. Or at least for me, what I've been looking at, like she had 6 points last game. I'm like, NECA, what are you doing? She's usually a pretty solid, at least double-digit scorer. So that's been probably part of it.
Yeah, man, it's been very weird for her. This was, I thought, going to be a really, really great run for Seattle this year, and they played, pretty solid. I'll give them credit for that. Some of the games just looked a little clunky to start the season, but NECA, being kind of a underperforming player with the starting five, and then we've seen from Alicia Clark getting moved out of the starting five finally to Erica Wheeler starting. And, she's kind of a flash in the pan too. She had a couple really good games and then came back down to earth as usual. So the weight should be falling a little bit more on NECA here. I would say directly more so than any of the other players. You have Ezzy Magbagor there who can do, a fair amount of stuff, but it seems like the team's been kind of wanting to split the minutes more so for Malonga off the bench, their young draft pick. And we've seen them go small with a lot of their second unit too, so only needing either NECA or one of the bigs out there by themselves. So it's kind of a weird situation for them, but we do need to see NECA kind of step it up here. I mean, she should be scoring at least like 15 points a game.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I feel you. All right, guys. Well, we have 10 likes. We need some more likes in here, my kids, my friends, my homies. Can you hit the likes for us? It'll be good luck for you, good luck for us. We always say that. We get to 25 likes and we get good luck on our bets today, and it helps the stream as well. And we got 6 games today. Let's have a good day, guys. How you feeling over there, E? That dab hitting you?
Oh, yeah. It definitely hit me, and feeling pretty good before and after said thing. A lot of stuff to, kind of go through here and a lot of consideration plays, but we can actually talk about, they moved our prize picks line. So if you guys were in the Discord, we did have this posted up earlier. We had two lines that I knew were going to move back. Veronica Burton, she did move down to 5.5 for a little bit, and now they already ticked her back up to 6. And then we had Alicia Gray. She keeps going back and forth.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The 5.5 for Burton. One of my favorite plays today. I mean, Dallas has given up the most assists per game. She's been dominating touches over the last few games. Even with Tiffany Hayes potentially being back today, I still don't mind it. I think she easily can still work with the point guard or as a point guard for this offense. Minutes have looked great, 30 plus in the last 3 or 4 games straight.
That's 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the hell? That is funny.
That's funny. Well, maybe it'll stay at 5.5, but we'll see. And then we had Alicia Gray at 12.5 field goal attempts. Felt very confident that was going to bump somewhere throughout the day, and they finally moved it up to 13 flat. So hopefully you guys are able to get that in. I would say Gabby Williams, definitely another candidate for seeing a bump. There's a real good shot she's going to bump to 22, especially on prize picks, I will say.
You got some green bars, huh?
Yeah, a couple green bars there. Very misconsistent. Okay, so let's just go through the plays here. I'll kind of talk for a minute. If you guys have any questions, throw them down into the comments and we'll get to them as soon as possible. I know underrated, you're having a bit of an earache of such today, so I'll talk for a minute, and if you got anything, just let me know, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's all good. I'll just be a little louder than normal. You let me know if I'm yelling, because I can't hear myself. But hey, we'll keep it going. Right. We got 6 games. I can't stop. We got to get some money today.
We do. All right. Well, speaking of money, let's talk about Veronica Burton. So with the Valkyries, like I was saying, over the last 3 games, she's really, really dominated the touches, potential assists every single game, double digit in the last 3 out of 5. But the 2 games before were, much more of a difficult matchup. Minnesota, obviously, very difficult matchup. And Phoenix playing some really good defense and held them to only 77 points. So now we have Dallas today, who's just surrendering an obscene amount of points per game. But they're giving up the most assists per game in the league. And for her, this is still a very favorable line. I mean, she was just at 4.5, the game before this. And I mean, last 3 games have looked pretty stellar. So another thing being the minutes keep trending upwards. Now we know that Julie Van Loo is going to be out for the team. So she basically doesn't have a backup here, and continuing to see secure minutes. I love the 31 to 34 minutes. Could see her playing 32 minutes. It is also against her former team. She played on Dallas for a season or so. So a lot of motivation here. And I'm excited to see a couple of the new players. Ariel Powers basically didn't play this last game, But they did the same thing for Mihir the game before that, and then Mihir played minutes this last game. So expecting Powers to play a little bit more here. And then if they get Tiffany Hayes back, I think that honestly helps us out here. Very capable shooter, another body that she can pass to. But 5.5 for the amount of potential assists that she's been racking up over these last games. Absolutely love it. All the point guards have been thriving against this matchup. So Burton, 5.5 assists.
I'm with it, man. I'm with it. That looks like a great play. She's going all over that. She got the minutes, like you said. Perfect matchup. I like how you got at the top of the list. I'm feeling that one. They just got to make their shots, and we'll be good to go. And Golden State, man, they're an underrated team, huh? They're doing a lot better than anyone thought.
Yeah, man. I mean, they've been honestly just downright impressive because, I'll be the first to admit, I definitely thought that they were going to be a pretty awful team because they look like a lot of, mid-level players, no really A-plus players, but just a lot of solid B-plus players. And, I mean, hey, they're just playing good fundamental ball and still leading the league in three-point attempts per game. We'll see how that changes with now them kind of losing a couple of extra players to Eurobasket. But yeah, man, I mean, they're also causing, I believe, the most turnovers in the league per game too. So playing really good defense and kind of tying that back in with Burton too. And she's averaged almost about 3 steals over the last couple of games as well. So those leading to fast break points, opportunities, and, just earning her minutes on the court.
I like it, man. I think you're onto something with that for sure.
All right, so next up, let's talk about the Washington game. A player, I think, in just an absolute prime bounce back spot. We got Brittany Sykes, Big Sykes, man, crushing this season. She's been averaging almost 20 points a game and coming off of quite an embarrassing blowout loss to Atlanta. They were held to just 56 points at the house. Pretty terrible game, no ifs, ands, or buts about that, but now we got Chicago. This is a prime matchup for a variety of reasons, but really just overall, Chicago, they're allowing the most field goal made per game in the league. So anybody with just raw, field goal usage, shot volume, all that stuff, they're just surrendering a ton of points to. And that's what Syke does. Her best is she's just been kind of a vacuum for usage, especially in the second half of the games. But man, this is a really favorable line for her. So the 18.5 points, I don't mind that at all today. There was some line movement that looked like we could get her at 17.5, but it doesn't look like that's quite going to be the case just yet. Only this goblin on Prizepicks. But yeah, great matchup. I mean, there's a good shot that she's probably going to see Atkins on the other side. We'll have a little former teammate rivalry going on here, but she should dominate here. I mean, still playing the most secure minutes, her and Citron in the competitive games. They are playing very solid minutes. And yeah, honestly, I love her today. Love the hustle. I think she also continues to get to the free throw line. It's not a bad matchup for that. We've seen plenty of these Chicago players be quite foul prone, so wouldn't be surprised to see another 8 to 10 free throw attempts this game, and then stack that on top of some inside the paint score and hitting a couple of mid ranges.
Yeah, I'm feeling it, man. Good spot. Last 2 games, I'm looking here. Obviously, they lost by 33 and then they won by 37. So that's pretty wild. So you can't really look at those games like, at least the last game, they're getting their ass whooped. She's not getting the minutes. So we're getting a little bit better value here. 17.5 would be amazing. What is it? 18 flat on Prizepicks?
No, so she was at 19.5 on most sites with juice on the under, but it looks like majority of the sites have already kind of moved her back to 18.5. Prizepicks had her at 19.
Okay.
So, I mean, personally, I think the 17.5 Goblin, it was a higher payout Goblin. It was like a 2.7 or a 2.5. That one's a little bit better, but there is a shot that they could bump her down to, 7 or 18.5 on Prizepicks itself. Keep an eye out for that one. Oh, she did move finally. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like people were on her points last game and the game didn't really go as planned, but I feel like she'll be back today and she'll probably, like you said, she'll probably get to the free throw line a bunch. So I can see it, man. Cool.
All right, sweet. Okay, so moving on, talking about Big Gabby Williams here. Now, she had 2 lines that were really favorable. I figured this first half one was going to bump for sure. We had it posted at 15.5 when it opened, and insane hit rating. 82%. She's been the first half beast, no doubt. I think the 16 is still fine. If you want to play that, still very, very doable for her. Coming off of a really bad scoring performance, I wouldn't say back-to-back games because Minnesota is a really tough defense, but against Golden State, man, that was just really, really terrible. She honestly got lucky to even end with 9 points. But the RA department, very consistent, still dominating touches for potential assists. We've had 3 games in a row of double-digit potential assists for her, so I like that. I think the rebounding is still very consistent for her. 3.5, very favorable line. But the scoring is really where the upside is going to come from her. Pretty solid. We got green lights almost across the board for everything. Rebounding could be a little bit better, but they're surrendering the 3rd most points and then 4th most assists per game, which the PA is really what she's done a lot more so lately. Her and Erica Wheeler taking away a lot of assist usage from Skylar, which we've seen that kind of translate to Skylar really scoring the ball more, especially with how we talked about, NECA not really doing much as far as scoring and offensive usage. But Gabby's also picking up the slack there too. And this is going to be a great matchup for us. The pace of it's going to be a little bit speedy. And even I think without Plum, Gabby should be able to, keep the tempo going. Still leading the team with fast break chance and opportunity. I think after this game and kind of being shut out, basically in the first half, she was really shut down. The scoring is going to look a lot better here. So that's the only reason she missed this last game. For her PRA, 21.5, still very favorable. Minutes are, I think, one of the most appealing things for her in a competitive game. She's live to play 35 to 38 minutes almost a game. 31 minutes this last game, not a surprise. They played a little bit more deep in the bench, trying to get offensive scoring going. But I still like 21.5. I think this is totally doable for her. Would love to see her hit a few more threes this game. I think that would be my biggest gripe. She looked phenomenal. Hit this little lull right here. Now we've gone back-to-back games without 2 threes. I think we're getting 2 threes here. Going to pick up the change and get this PRA.
Yeah, I love me some Gabby, and they are actually disrespecting her with this line. I know she had one off game, and like you said, the game before was Minnesota. That's expected. Now she gets a team in the Sparks, which isn't very scary. And to be honest, in the W anyways, it's like, unless you're playing New York or somebody that's a little bit scarier, which even that doesn't even scare me anymore, the matchups aren't as big of a deal as they seem to be, because we're just wild westing it out here anyways. But I will say, if you add up the numbers, bro, did you notice they fucked off with the numbers? Like, if you add the points and the rebounds and the assists together, it's 23, I think, 22.5, and they're giving us 21.5. So that's a little bonus already. And I always like Gabby. She should be on the court 35 minutes, and it's not difficult for her. The only thing I was going to say is, you did bring up fantasy. And you like the first half fantasy. Did you like the PRA better than the full game fantasy for a reason? Not that I liked it more, but just wondered.
They've just kind of adjusted the fantasy portion of it, because she was doing so much fantasy, in the first couple of games of the season. They've really adjusted her lines for that. So it's mostly the production's coming from the first half specifically. So like you can see how the numbers are really drastically different. First half, averaging almost 20 fantasy a game, but then in the full game stretch, the numbers look a lot different here. So
right.
Really just a line adjustment. And you can even see between the 2 sites, there's a massive difference there right now. On Underdog, she's at 32.55, and then on Prizepicks, she's at 31 flat.
Okay, cool. I'm cool with the PRA. I just wondered what you thought about the fantasy. I know her second halves have been a little shaky, to say the least, but I think today she bounces back. 22 PRA is not difficult for her. She should get there.
Yeah, I think so. And like you mentioned, with the discount too, especially for Prizepicks standards, that's kind of rare to come by. So
Yeah.
I don't mind this. Pretty available on most sites today.
Okay, sounds good. Let me just shout out a few people before we get too far behind, if you don't mind, real quick.
Yeah,
just go through. Yeah. So, Big Nathan's here. Big Nathan. He said he's going to do some money line and alt line game stacks today. Appreciate you, Cash fam. That's what's up, Big Nathan. And then Andre says, what's popping, my guys? He wants some unders. When we get to that, he wants the top 2 unders because he's always looking for unders. I appreciate that. I love unders as well. They always hit more than overs. If you find the right ones, that's for damn sure. And Cool Ken is here. What's up, bro? He says, Angel has taken over for Jewel role of being Cheeks. Shots fired. Cool Ken is back, baby. I love it. I love it. And then E2's here. He said he's at work, but he stops by to say what's up and drop a like because E2 is the man. We appreciate you.
What's up, man?
Nathan says, any aces under? Dirty Reg says, Camilla, 10 points might be a parlay piece for him. Plums and Sim out. My Sparks are in trouble. We can get to that later. So I just wanted to shout everybody out, make sure we're caught up. If anyone else has any questions, throw them in the chat, and E can get to those when he can. And hit the like, guys. We're at 22 already. 22!
Yeah, Dirty Rag, man, for minus 136, you don't even really have to parlay that with anything. You just kind of get a straight bet in for that. I know she did open, I believe, at 10.5, and it looked like she was favored for the under. I think she has the capability of it, no doubt, getting 10 points. It is a tough matchup, though. I will say Washington has actually been allowing the least amount of points inside the paint. So could be, tough sledding. If she's efficient, she's efficient. But, the minutes also been kind of suspect for her. She is at home, so there is that. But it is a tougher matchup, so something to just consider.
Okay, Roger said thoughts on Thornton as well, but you can get to that after you go through a few. I know you got a bunch of plays to get through.
Yeah, so, Thornton, I think, honestly, she's in a good position where you can hold off on her. The starting lineup, I think, is going to be pretty important today, too. We need to find out if Tiffany Hayes is going to be playing for sure. Let me get a quick refresh here. Yeah, so we need to find out if Tiffany Hayes is playing, if Billings is going to start this game. She still did not start last game, but they did lose Fag Bentley and who else? They lost a bunch of players, man.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice that. That's a big deal. Van Loo, too?
Yeah. So, there is basically going to be a completely different look from a couple of different positions here on the team. I think that Carla could start here again, but with Tiffany Hayes coming back, does she come off the bench? I think if that's the case, I would definitely like Kayla Thornton, some kind of usage. If Tiffany Hayes starts, that could kind of throw a wrench into things. Thornton's still been, dominating on the usage, so I don't mind that. Should be locked into a little bit more of a rebounding role as well. But again, we still kind of need to see the starting lineup, so you could hold off on her. If there's any kind of news that breaks in favor of this, there's probably a good chance that they'll actually bump her down. Even if it's just like a half a point, there's still a good chance that could happen.
Yeah, Big Kayla looks pretty good, man. Her PR, 22.5. She's been rebounding.
Yeah, the
crazy.
PR for sure.
Nice. Yeah. She's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, she has. Honestly, that was my only pause really for not having her into kind of a top play situation today. Was just waiting to see what the lineup is, but that game should be pretty juicy. And we get, I believe, 3 games during that time slot as well. Yeah, that's the 3-game time slot. So if we want to make some last minute cards and stuff, we'll definitely have a huge opportunity to do that because I'm going to have a lot of interest in the Washington-Chicago game, and that could be a good game stack to have 2 pieces from.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. 6 games. What?
Yeah. I know somebody was asking about Vegas unders.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's so difficult to kind of commit to one of them because even if the game still does blow out, Vegas, they'll kind of keep the players out there for a pretty unreal amount of time for no reason. And I mean, we saw this last game. It's 3 players through and through, Young, Gray, and Lloyd. All 3 of them are going to play as many minutes as the game is competitive, and they're going to take all the field goal attempts. And basically, nobody else is really going to do much. I mean, even Tiff Mitchell, she had 2 field goal attempts. I mean, just, yeah, you can't even make that up. So, I think honestly a better recipe was, and we saw it with Jackie last game too. She still continues to be very dominant in the first quarter, very dominant in the first half, and then she actually scored 0 points in the second half. So that I think may be somewhat of an outlier performance, but if she's using, so much juice in the tank in the first half already, and the potential for this game to kind of be a blowout, I would really look out for live betting, any kind of live unders, keep those in the tank. This game could get real ugly. I have no doubt that potentially, Vegas could keep it close, but Minnesota should really put a beating on them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a scary game for Vegas fans, that's for sure. When's Asia coming back?
She might be back for this next game. I mean, she's still just out for the concussion protocol, so until she clears that.
They've been shit with her, and now they're just extra shit without her. It's gonna be a bloodbath today. Oh my gosh!
I'll say if I had to pick one between the trio, today would be Jewel Lloyd to go under. I think her lines are very low. I know I brought that up to you earlier. Her 14.5 points. Now most sites have her at 13.5 points. That's pretty damn low for how many nobodies are on, out there for this team. But there's also a good chance if the game starts slipping, Jewel Lloyd's probably going to be one of the first players to go, undoubtedly. Kirsten Bell will come in and play no problem.
Now, didn't you have Jewel Lloyd on your list to go over? Or did you not?
Yeah, she was a hedge play, more of a hedge play for Gray, but 13.5 points is still, pretty back up. Still pretty disrespectful, for her.
Bro. Yeah, I think so too, man. Like she's at least getting some usage in comparison. When Asia was there, she was just disappearing. But last few games, she's been in the mix. So
yeah. The field goal volume, for her looks really good. In any other day, probably closer to maybe the 13 range actually. But still for her, what we've seen so far this season, it's just been the field goal volume. Any game that she's really kind of eclipsed over double digit, she scored pretty fair amount of points, 14 plus in all but one. Mm-hmm. But it's just the volume. So granted, some of that does come with the minutes. These lackluster minutes here in the middle probably has some part due to it, but they need her. It's literally 3 people on this team.
Yeah, 13.5's low, bro. I know it's Minnesota, but hey, she got some
decent history against Minnesota. She put it on them a couple games.
It's just about, I guess, do you want to trust Jewel Lloyd? But it is low. All she has to do is have an average shooting day. She should get there. K. Rogers also says Hamby RA and thoughts on Becker's field goals. She's playing 35 plus minutes. Yes, she is. Becker's looking good, bro. I didn't know how she was going to translate into the league, but she looks like the real deal. She looks like a player you want on your team for years to come. She can run a team. That's dope.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I was looking at her field goal attempts today too. It is I believe like 0.5 higher than her normal season average right now. But after coming back from that little injury and sickness, she's letting it rip. 19 field goal attempts in both games. Now, obviously that's a little high for what it probably is going to end up being. Still sharing time with Enrique is going to cut into it just a little bit at some point. But the median outcome could definitely be in that 15 to 16 range. I have no doubt that she could probably go out there, even if you got a push at 14. I still don't mind it. It's a little bit more of a flash in the pan, but the assist and playmaking's come down a little bit too. So that's kind of a weird trade-off we're getting there. This last game, I thought for sure she would have more than 5 assists, but still put the ball up 19 times. This matchup is pretty good for that mid-range game. I know the 3 points very unreliable for her, but the mid range for her has looked really, really good. She picks her spot on the court, and in this kind of pseudo drop coverage that Golden State plays, they might get exposed for that quite a bit. The only thing, again, with being uncertain is just what's the starting five going to look like for the Valkyries. Not really sure exactly, because, she could even end up seeing, Aerial Powers as a starter, or if Tiffany Hayes plays, then she'll probably end up covering her, or, Enrique one. So a few pieces of news to kind of keep an eye out for that. But I don't mind her potential, man. Her lines are definitely very, very high, all around. The PRA is way up there. She was just at like 24.5 2 games ago. But field goal attempts, very promising. That I would have quite a bit of interest in.
Yeah, that's a good look. 14 flat, huh?
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's keep talking about some plays. Somebody's asking about Hamby. So, yes, I do agree. I think that Hamby has got a lot of potential today. The 12.5 RA stood out, and I think the PRA came down 2 points now. She was like 31.5 on some sites, but 29.5 PRA is very interesting. The RA, as we were talking about, consistent. I like that, but I think the scoring upside for her could actually be a little bit more appealing today. With Plum not being there, that is a massive void to fill. We're talking 19 to 20 field goal attempts a game, and haven't seen that so far this season. So I would expect both Hamby and Jackson to pick up a massive amount of volume here. But Hamby kind of seems like, she would be next up to really kind of play that position. We know that she likes to play in that mid-range and kind of pick and roll, and we saw Fag Bentley just absolutely destroy Seattle with that. Play after play after play. Ezzy McEvoy is just getting cooked down low on that. So even though Azrae, not necessarily known for her pick and roll action, I think she could still end up shooting from the three-point line. So good shot that Ezzy's going to be dragged out there, and that would just kind of leave us in 1v1 with NECA down low, who was also getting just play after play, man. Watching life go by. They made a few adjustments, but that seems to be something that's really exposing Seattle right now, and Sparks do it pretty well. I know the point guard position is going to be a little suspect tonight, but Hamby should end up actually running more of a point guard role today too. I'm sure we'll see her bring the ball up quite a bit, but that field goal volume for her could definitely take a nice little spike. She's been averaging, where we at? I think close to 14 field goal attempts, something like that. So 12.5 field goal attempts. So, this could easily look like a 16 field goal attempt game. And anything that's, cracked above 15 field goal attempts, 20, 25, 28, just real points alone right there. So a lot of upside here, albeit it's not the best on paper matchup. I still think that pick and roll exposing a lot of things from Seattle, and Hamby's going to have to do more today. So a couple things to consider for her.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so we briefly touched on Gray, just kind of recap on that. 12.5 line was an amazing find, 82% so far this season. New York is allowing the most field goal attempts per game and the fourth most three-point attempts per game. So really, really nice spot for her. If you want to play the 13, that's kind of on you. I think also a good alternative for her PRA at 25.5. You might be able to get it at 24.5. It looks like there is a little bit of juice on the under 25.5, but still playing a ton of minutes, just filling up the RA, and just need those few extra buckets to land. So I don't mind that either.
Yeah, I like Gray today, bro. Gray today is awesome. I feel like the only reason why her lines are kind of still low is because of the matchup, right? New York matchup. But like I said, bro, this Wild Wild West shit we've been watching, fuck that. It's too low for Big Gray.
Yeah. And New York is still going to be without Phoebish, who's been a phenomenal defender for them. So, we're going to see Gray really kind of going at that second string filler that they've, kind of been toying with the lineup a little bit back and forth, but still should get a lot of good looks from her. And especially if the paint's going to be a little bit more difficult to score in today, they should defer to that outside scoring just a slight bit more between her and Howard. And I mean, even Canada. I mean, Canada's been letting it rip since she got back. So between the three of them, should see the scoring efficiency and shot volume pick up.
Dope.
All right. Moving on, let's talk about Indiana. I'll be totally honest. I'm very weary on any full game over props for this game in general on both sides of the ball. This could be a really, really ugly bloodbath. The Connecticut, I mean, honestly, all the scoring is coming from two players between Tina Charles and Mabry, sprinkling a couple of the other players here and there. But if the two starters are struggling, then the team's just really struggling. Had him again held to under 70 points on an early weekend game. Found that stat out. That seems to be holding true. Team has yet to score over 70 points anytime they play early in the afternoon. It's kind of weird. But again, with the back-to-back situation for Connecticut, it's very difficult to trust them in 18-point spread. But Aaliyah Boston, still like the playmaking from her. Two or three different lines in consideration today. 3.5 assists still looks phenomenal. Her in the pick and roll game between Clark, came right back in like nothing was ever missing. The first part of the season, these were some really difficult matchups. I know she got 0 against Chicago, but didn't play her normal allotment of minutes there. And then Atlanta, New York, very difficult matchup. Bottom of the barrel, assists allowed. But we got a great matchup here, allowing the second most assists per game. The two other options, I think you could take her full game PRA, which I think is totally fine, 25.5. Again, just a blowout being the only kind of suspect part of that. But the field goal attempts as well on Prizepicks, they have her at 9.5. If she's clearing her, points or full game lines, there's a good chance that she's probably hitting this as well. 9.5 is very, very low for her. She hit that majority of the last season. So with Clark being back in the mix, we know that Boston does pick up the offensive scoring side as well. But again, just be a little cautious with the full game props. All right. Moving on. Circle back to Kiki earlier. They had her first half PRA at 10.5. I believe it's up to 11. Yeah, it bumped up to 11 now, which, I mean, if you still want to play it, I don't think it's bad. Very consistent, playing her, normal allotment of minutes again in the first half. The consistency, though, getting the offensive putbacks and the scoring upside from her has been phenomenal. Very consistent in the first quarter, scoring at least 4 points every single game. And then the first half rebounding, been very consistent as well. Even with the, cast and crew coming back between Edwards and Shakira, she's still getting her, dues in between the rotations. So I don't mind that. The also other, I think, full game prop very live for her. 7.5 rebounds. I mean, she's just been a menace on the glass. She's putting up a lot of offensive rebounds too. I don't know if I necessarily want to chase that one in particular, a bit more of a linear prop, but the overall rebound 7.5, still just really, really low for her. I mean, she's averaging 9 rebounds so far this season, even with reduced minutes, still clearing this and, the majority of the games. So don't mind that, and should see a lot of action too against Reese on the other side. So we know those low vicinity rebounds are going to be right there. Just keep the hands to yourself.
Sneak diss.
Heyo. Low-key.
Oh, yeah, they call it low-key these days.
Right. Okay, real fast. And the last one we had for kind of, more of the main tier plays was Sabrina going up against Atlanta. Atlanta has been real deal on defense. They've been holding all the opposing guards into season low as far as like assist conversions. I believe no guard so far against Atlanta has put up more than 6 assists. So for her, still kind of, 1A, 1B between her and Cloud, even though Cloud has been seeing reduced minutes. Still a very difficult matchup for her. Even with Jonquel being back today, I think that actually takes away a little bit more of the usage overall. Jonquel was really, having her hands into the offensive pick and roll game too. So should cut into just enough of this, and for her, I mean, honestly, just seeing this so far this season, she's only hit that so far in 3 games. Not consistent, 70% to stay under already. And then factor in Atlanta's like the second best against assists allowed. So I don't mind that. I think solid play for her. And then you can hedge it back with her 3-point attempts. Now, it looks even more 50-50, on the surface, but most of it's just been with the minutes in the games that she's so far played. Any game that she's played 30 or more minutes, she's only missed this so far oh my goodness, excuse me. She's only missed it so far one time this season. So if assuming this game is going to stay close, she should play her 31 and 34 minutes and looking for, that 7 to 8 3-point attempt range here.
Sabrina, did you see her try to keep up with Caitlin, trying to chuck those 30-footers?
Oh yeah, man, we just had an absolutely wild weekend. It seemed like one person from every team just like a season high, like just absolutely went off.
That was awesome. That game was so great. We have a question here. Gabby and Thornton PRA. I know you've talked about both of them already, but he must have missed it earlier, which is totally fine. But again, can you throw out Gabby and Thornton? Now he has Thornton PRA. Do you like her PRA or just her PR? Or do you even like either of those? I thought you had it on there, but you don't.
Well, so Thornton was a maybe just because we want to see with Tiffany Hayes if she's going to end up playing, and then also what the starting five is going to look like. Now, I think the PRA is basically kind of one and the same. The I think PR was at 22.5, and the PRA was at 23. So she's been getting an assist, over the last 3 games or so, but really, I would say that's about all she's good for, is just a assist at best. We did have a couple games, or there was a game with 0, but they're really factoring in that one extra assist on it. So if you want to take it, I mean, I get it. It's nothing extra special, matchup wise, but it's honestly,
I like her PR. Okay, I like her PR decently, just because some of those players are out today, and I know we're waiting for Hayes to see if she's going to play. But either way, even if she does play, I feel like Thornton should be in a spot. She's just been too much of the offense to not like that. That PR at 22.5 is not bad. She's double-digit rebounds 3 games in a row. That wouldn't change today, right? Seems like she should hit that again.
Well, so that I think is probably the more likely thing that could be suspect to change. With Fag Bentley being out, my biggest worry for the rebound specifically would be if Monique Billing starts, because she's very much so a capable rebounder. She rebounds a lot more as a starter, I would say more than Fag Bentley does. So that would kind of give us a slight trade-off where we might lose out on the rebounding a little bit, but she could continue with the scoring upside. So just something to kind of think about there. I think, the double-digit rebounding could be a little suspect depending on the starters, because, we could even see something like, Tiff Hayes starts and Billing starts, and then you have, a small forward and then another heavy rebounder that moves in the starters. So it would make me feel, I think, a lot more comfortable getting that starting lineup, just to know like who could kind of be a landmine in the lineup, and then like, okay, we have a dedicated like second unit that we know is going to play, and then play her.
No, that makes sense. It's just safer that way. But I think either or, just because, and this is the other thing, man, we've been talking about how WNBA is so inconsistent in a lot of ways. If you could just find players with minutes, she's one of those players, It's her, Paige, like those certain players that play 35 minutes, Alicia Gray, like those are the players that at least they're going to be on the court to get those props we need. You know what I'm saying? Like she's at 30, what is she at? 36 minutes last game, 35 the game before, 36 the game before. Like, bro, that's a huge part of her just getting that PR, I think. Just stay on the court.
Yeah.
And we should be okay.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And, again, being the biggest appeal for her would be now these minutes. The rebounding, though, I would say that would be my only kind of cautionary tale, just to see what that starting lineup looks like. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I love the field goal attempts. That usage has been real deal. And the threes have been landing.
And then you said Gabby, too. And Gabby's another one, right? Gabby got a good amount of minutes, too. Mid-30s? Low 30s? At least.
Yeah, she's a lock for mid-30s. I mean, almost every game.
Yeah, Thornton and Gabby are. I think that's a good little tube tick you got there, bro. To be honest, I mean, you can't do much more than that in WNBA. It's going to be inconsistent. You got 2 players with minutes. Their lines aren't high. They're actually decent value today. So I think you're onto something with that. My opinion.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at it.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple last plays here just to hum through, and then we'll see if we got anything else and probably skedaddle.
Okay.
All right, so we got Big Feezy. She's been an absolute force this season, clearing this mostly through points and scoring, but we've also seen the RA take a nice step forward over the last couple games. The 36.5 PRA was, I think, the sweet spot, best line that we had available. Again, if you want to take the RA, I get it. I was hoping that this would actually come down to 12.5. It looks like FanDuel finally moved it down, so if you got FanDuel, 12.5 looks really appealing for her RA. But again, most of the damage is also coming through her scoring. So 23.5 is probably going to be the line that we're going to get in most sites today. That's going to be favorable. The alt lines, if you want to play them, I get it. I'd probably reach down to the 19.5 if I'm going to play anything else. But she has had kind of historic struggle against Vegas. I will say yes, even though that is with Asia. There's a real good chance they could, on Vegas side of things, just try and double team and throw that at, Minnesota as much as possible. Just dare Lana Smith to shoot the ball and cut them on the inside. But Feezy, she's been pretty insane at the house. So, so far this season, 70% at least to get 24 points or more. Looks pretty good. I really couldn't, plant my flag between the two props if I wanted to take the RA or the PRA. But it's all coming out in the 70% either way. So honestly, I think PRA is probably getting the best route. The only concern would be is if the game blows out and she doesn't do enough in the first half, she'll probably end up getting the RA in that situation, just falling into rebounds and, being passive down the line. But if by some miracle Vegas keeps this game close, Feezy is going to crush this PRA line. Vegas has been awful, man. Awful. Allowing the fourth most points per game and then the second most rebounds and assists per game. So the metrics wise, it was leaning a little bit more towards the RA line. I wasn't quite as sold about the 13.5, but the 12.5, I can really get behind this. Again, no Jessica Shepard, so the minutes have been really, really stable. And she's playing like the most minutes in the league too.
There we go.
Any kind of competitive game is
there
just
we go.
Absolutely wild.
I think that's the ticket, man. Stick to players with those minutes, and we'll be all right. But you're right about the blowout too, man. If she doesn't play, the cool thing about WNBA at least is they do tend to leave the players in a little longer. I think maybe because they only have 40 games instead of 100 or 82 or whatever. So at least she'll still probably get what does she play in blowouts? She still plays 30 minutes, right? 28.
Yeah, still playing 31 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. She should get that PRA, I would think. But yeah, we'll play that and hope that Vegas can at least keep it within 20. Because that's that number.
Yeah.
They get to 30, that she might sit a little bit.
Yeah, that could get scary, but Vegas, they're also allowing the third most points inside the paint too. So, again, hard for me to decide between the RA and the PRA. I think you could even consider taking the, kind of a half split between the two, throwing a half on the full game PRA and then half on the 12.5 RA.
Sure.
All right, so moving on, we got Big Skylar, who again just kind of being relegated to that scoring duties. The assists really coming down since Wheeler, kind of made her way into the offense. But the scoring for her has looked really, really good. And I didn't even see they added some of the Seattle props too. This wasn't up earlier whenever I was checking. I wonder if she was at 12.5, which that's unfortunate if I missed that. But 13 field goal attempts, very doable for her. Again, it being a bit better of a 3-point, scoring upside per se. But she's been doing a lot of damage, and especially on the road. She's averaging over 18 points so far this season. Pretty good matchup. The interior defense that the Sparks have should lead to a lot of mid-range looks, which she thrives in. I think the free throw category for her could be really interesting today because the wing players for the Sparks are going to be pretty young, so we could see a lot of early fouls from them. And Skylar's an interesting one today. So I will say secondary play to Gabby. Gabby just doing a little bit more overall. And it's kind of crazy to see Skylar, her PRA all the way down to 26. And she was even 25.5 on some sites too. But really losing out to that RA, man. Not at all what it looked like at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, Wheeler's turning into be a good player for them. So they're starting Wheeler now, and so Skylar's assists have gone way down. Do they still have her assists? What do they got them at now? 5.5?
5.5. Yeah.
Can't fuck with that under, huh?
No, it's still too low, and I mean it is a good matchup for the assist and playmaking, but just her splitting the duties between the other two wing players, you know, Wheeler and Gabby, it's really kind of cutting into a hard cap for her. You know, she might get 6 assists, but real good shot she might even just stay at this 5 range for a while.
Too bad they don't have RA to go under, huh? They don't even have her rebounds. They're like, she doesn't get rebounds. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Nathan says, what about Reese's 10 boards today? Do you like Reese rebounds? I mean, she always rebounded. What's today looking like for you, though?
Yeah, I think it's totally fine. Washington does shoot a pretty high clip from 3, so I mean there is that. But between their interior units, you know, we know that Kiki is going to put up plenty of shots, so there should be some directly in that, you know, on-court matchup. Dolson not really going to offer much as far as, you know, positional rebound potential or anything like that. Very low volume. I think the biggest appeal would be just whenever she gets overlap minutes between Kiki and Shakira. Between those two players, there's going to be a ton of shots that go down in the mid-range, and also Sykes for that matter. You know, she likes to slash and hit the mid-range option, try to get to the free throw line. So there, in theory, should be some pretty good looks for her today. The only thing I'd be even concerned about is just a blowout game, and then, you know, her losing out minutes in the fourth quarter.
Okay. Coolio.
All right, we got 2 quick rebound plays, just low lines for the minutes and usage that players are getting. Both Chelsea Gray and Rickea Jackson, they got them at 3.5 rebounds today. Rickea in a pretty good spot overall. You know, the mid-range kind of non-3-point attempts that Seattle's going to be offering should lead to good positional potential for her. The only thing I guess I would be slightly concerned about is if the Sparks are so thin that they end up, you know, kind of using her like they did Ray Burrell to start the season, where she was playing as a 2 guard. I would be a little bit worried about that because, you know, they could start like Emma Cannon or one of the other bigs essentially in the 3 spot, and then that would could do enough to kind of push us off 4 rebounds. But I mean, last season this line was really, really favorable for her when she started playing 30 plus minutes, and we did see the minutes ramp back up over the last 3 games, playing mid 30s. So absolutely love to see it.
Yeah.
Saw the rebounds come up too. I mean, 7 and 5 rebounds in a good matchup, and then in a difficult matchup. So somewhere in this median spot, I think 4 or 5 rebounds for her, totally doable.
Yeah, man. Rickea's back. And Plum is gone, man. Her points are just too high. I like that look, man. Rebounds. I hate betting rebounds, to be honest, but it's one of those plays you just can't really cheer for. You just got to hope. But she should get 4. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to sweat, I would say just an EV bet, if you will. Her 1.5 threes was like, it was 100, I think, plus 125 to start the day. But, you know, she's ripping it from 3 right now. I mean, and these are not easy matchups. This is bottom 3, bottom 4 matchups. So not a bad matchup. Again, today it's still, you know, on the lower end of things. But
yeah, that's a sneaky one. I hate 3s, but it makes sense with Plum gone. Like that makes sense. I wish we could do rebounds plus 3s at 4.5. Anyways, silly. What do you call that? The R3, the 3R. 3 Kings is here. Yeah, what's up, bro? He says, "What's up, fellas? 3 Kings, baby. What's up?" He says, "Paige crushed my play of the night fantasy score."
Nice. Yeah, she's been going crazy the last few games.
I love Paige, man. You see, I had to get her card after that 35-point performance. I said, better get this now. Big Paige is showing them she's the real deal. She said, "Move over, Caitlin."
Yes.
No, she didn't say that yet, but we'll let her slide in the top 10. Top 10. She's a top 10er in the future.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You could tell when they're out there and Dallas has the ball and that's the end of the game and they're giving her the ball, you could just tell she has that way about her. She's going to make the smart decisions, whereas if you give Enrique the ball, she's going to be Enrique. She's still a great player. It's just she doesn't have that take the team vibe to her, you know? She's going to fuck off and shoot some dumbass shot and end the game. And a lot of times at least. Hopefully she can, learn from this even, and they can play together good. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's Enrique, but I still have faith. I like her. I just want her to, if they let Paige have the ball, I feel like they could do a lot better with that squad. And Three Kings says, I told you guys. Three Kings, you're not supposed to say I told you. No one ever told you that? I told you. You're not supposed to say I told you. E, you look high as fuck over there, bro. No, Three Kings, I'm fucking with you. That's dope that it hit. I love Paige as well. What's going on, E? You all right over there? That dab hitting you again?
Oh, no. Somebody tagged me in a question. I was just reading.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, well.
A reader.
Dope. It's all good. I'm liking the plays today. You got a couple more to go through?
No, that was really it. And we briefly touched on Lloyd, 13.5 points. And then Gray, just more of a consistency thing. She was really assertive this last game, albeit in a better matchup. But, I mean, hell, 10 rebounds in the game without Asia. Still not going to have Asia again today. But, 4 rebounds, playing pretty solid minutes still. Just kind of feels like a low sweat for her. So I don't mind that either.
Yeah. 6 games, man. I'm excited to get to the second half stuff. I like a lot of these plays you got here. I think it's going to be a great day. Ayo says E is high as fuck. And then he says, E, we love you. I second that.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun day, bro. It's like a fucking tournament today. 6 fucking games. Hell yes. Let's get this money, man.
Yes, sir. Well, I think on that note, we are going to get out of here. Games start in 40 minutes. So I'm going to go walk the dogs, get ready for this, and catch you guys in the Discord. Again, if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. We appreciate you guys all hanging out here with us as usual. Underrated as per usual. Fire music, man. Love everything. Appreciate you, big dog.
Right on. Same to you. And Three Kings on the end. We'll leave it with this. He said, Feezy first half over 11.5 points. Play of the night. We'll leave it on that note. And Youngin will be back soon, and we will start the prop battle. So people like Three Kings can come in with this play. We can battle together. It'll be fun. All right, man.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all. Good luck tonight. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.